Good morning, boys and girls. Today is going to be a bit of a continuation from what Miss Anderson started when she was talking about Greek and Latin affixes. So here we go. The I can statement, I can use common grade appropriate prefixes, suffixes, Greek and Latin affixes, and roots. And throughout this presentation, I'm going to ask you to take a few notes because guess what? At the end, you'll have an optional Kahoot game to see what you are remembering. So here we go. An affix is a letter or group of letters attached to the beginning or end of a word. So first one is a prefix. So I'd like you to write this in your notebook. Prefix. A prefix is a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word and has a meaning of its own. And I'm going to continue that. If you want, you could write that definition. Sometimes I find it easier just to write examples. So a prefix is added to the beginning of a base word or root word. It provides meaning to the word. So some examples are re, pre, un, or dis. Re means to do it again. Pre means before. Un means not. And dis means no. So there you'll see some words that will have re in it, like refill. That means you're going to do it again. You're going to refill your drink of water that you've already had. Pre is meaning before. So what does preview mean? Well, when you're viewing a show, that's wonderful. You're right there in the act. But sometimes people do a trailer and they preview the movie before they watch the movie or the show. Then un, so that means not. So if you have the word, as you'll see under the un category, unsafe. So that means it's just not safe to do. Then dis is no or not. So I dislike that. I do not like that pet. All right, so those are some prefixes. What I would do is just write prefix. It's added to the beginning of a base word. You can write some of those examples. Then I'm going to have some fun here. And feel free to find the prefix. And what I'm going to do is when I read it, I'm going to stand up. You can do the same thing too. Prefix meaning number 1. Read each sentence, then use the context clues to describe what the underlined prefix means. Sentence number 1. Melanie was excited to meet her new coworker at the ice cream parlor. She hoped they got along well since they would often be working the same shift. Sentence 2. Jake and Emily were co-stars in their high school upcoming play. Jake would be Romeo, while Emily would be Juliet. So everybody can see the prefix, which is, you guessed it, co, and it's actually underlined. So what do you think the meaning of co means? Well, it means, together. Co means together, like co-workers means they're together working, or co-stars, they're together starring in a show. Nice work. Here we go. Prefix meaning number 2. Look at how it changes the words. Read each sentence. Here we go. Sentence number 1. Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, is one of the best-selling autobiographies of all times. Many people are eager to read the former First Lady's story told in her own words. Sentence 2. Marla's most prized possession is a baseball autographed by Derek Jeter. She would never forget the day he signed the ball for her after a game at the Yankee Stadium. So you guessed it, it is underlined, makes it a little bit easier, is auto. And what do you think the meaning of auto is? Well, it means relates to self. So an autobiography is relating to that person. It's relating that autobiography to Michelle Obama. And autographed means that it was written by Derek Jeter. So see how that changes the meaning? Just a little prefix at the beginning can really change the word meaning. All right, here we go. We're going to move on to suffixes. Please write this in your notebook. And if your teacher needs to pause the video at any time, your teacher may. A suffix is a letter or group of letters added to the end of a word and has a meaning of its own. All right, so here's some suffix examples. Able, full, you'll see these at the end of sentences, less, and ness. Able is can do, full is full of something, less is without, and ness is the state of. So here are some words that you'll see with able, like predictable. So you're able, you can predict. You have the ability to predict. You can do it. Full, let's look at that. That means full of. So when you see the word cheerful, you're like, oh, that person is full of cheer or full of happiness. Less, it's really changing the word meaning. Fear less, that means that person is without fear. And let's go to ness. Ness is the state of. So sickness would mean sickness is being very sick, the state of being sick. No fun whatsoever. All right, let's move on to an activity. So here we have find each group of sentences, then select the word with the appropriate suffix to fit in each blank. And a lot of times just by rereading the sentence, you'll figure out which one A, B, and C is. So our word bank, we have friendly, friendship, and friendless. Ly, the meaning of the ly, is usually every, and ship, the meaning of ship, usually is to make meaning of a particular job, and less, like we heard before, is to not have it or without. So let's try to figure these out together. Feel free, if you want to move ahead, you can do this in your notebook. At the animal shelter, an orange cat nuzzled Melanie's hand and purred. This one seems quite, I'm going to put all of them in there. This one seems quite friendly. This one seems quite friendship. Or this one seems quite friendless. So here's an animal that's nuzzling and purring. I don't think it's going to be friendless because that means not a friend. And ship is meaning to take the meaning or a particular job. I think it has to be friendly because that is the cat is everyone's friend. So A would be friendly. B. Let's go to B. Oh, you know what? And if I were you, I would reread the sentence just to make sure that it makes sense. I always double check and sometimes even triple check. This one seems quite friendly. Sounds good. Arthur sat quietly by himself in the school cafeteria. He knew if he did not open up and introduce himself to someone, he might remain friendly for the rest of middle school. He might remain friendship for the rest of middle school. He might remain friendless. So this is meaning, let's go back to the context and what it's talking about. It's talking about if he sits quietly by himself. So if you're sitting quietly by yourself, would you have a friend? Probably not. And remember, the ending suffix for less means not. So he would not have any friends. He would be friendless. Let's reread it. He knew if he did not open up and introduce himself to someone, he might remain friendless for the rest of middle school. You got it right. Let's just see if friendship really fits in C. All right, Jasmine and Simon had been inseparable, which means they could never break apart, ever since they met on the first day of camp. It was the start of does friendship start? It was the start of a friendship that would carry on long after the summer was over. I believe so. They are a condition of being friends. So it is a friendship. Nice work. All right, we're going to skip this one and we're going to move on to root words. We talked about this the other day, but if you didn't get to write it down, you feel free to write root word down because this will really help in the Kahoot game. So root word is the form of a word after all affixes are removed, such as aqua. Oh, we did that with Miss Anderson. Bio, graph, and multi. So let's review what Miss Anderson talked about. She talked about aqua, there that was, which means water. She talked about the aquarium, which has to do with water. It's a glass or tank. She talked about aquifer, an underground layer of rock that water continuously moves through. She also talked about aquatic, living or taking place in water. She also talked about how hydra, the root is water, and mar is the sea. All right, we're going to move on. I just wanted to share some more Greek and Latin roots. Here are some more, and I wanted just to review a few more of them. And I think it will be best if I read the sentences below. So I think we need to buy a portable DVD player. So a portable DVD player means port, which we can carry. Can we carry a DVD player? Yeah, we sure can. It's pretty small. Port means carry. Therefore, portable must describe something that can be carried. All right, and the next one is calligraphy. The calligraphy on the certificate, was so fancy that it was hard to read. What is calligraphy? I think I do know it's a type of writing. Graph means to write. Therefore, calligraphy must refer to a type of fancy writing, and it sure is. If you've ever had the ability to do calligraphy writing, it's fun with some very fancy ink. All right, the last one we have, or actually we'll do two more. Uni means one. Therefore, unique refers to something that is one of a kind. Miss Anderson is unique. She is one of a kind. There's nobody else like her. It is important to say hydrated, said Dad. Ooh, hydrated. I talk to you boys and girls about that a lot. Hydro has to deal with water. Therefore, this sentence must mean to drink plenty of water. That's very important. Okay, we've learned a lot about prefixes, suffixes, Greek and Latin roots. Now we're going to do a fun prefix and suffix review. Are you ready for some Kahoot? All right, stay tuned. If you would like to do Kahoot, your teacher is going to give you the direction. I've enjoyed working with you, and stay tuned for next week when we do more with grammar. Oh my God. Did not work?